So I figured I'd go ahead and do another video because I have been thinking about this stuff for so long. I got like hours and hours and hours I could talk about it just off the top of my head. So I'm going to make this video, my first real video on a coin. It's going to be Bitcoin, as should be, but it's probably not going to be what people want to hear or what they are being told by about 1 million other YouTube channels right now. I just went on to try to find my first intro video and couldn't find it because it's buried under millions of other crypto videos. And a lot of them that I saw were, showing Bitcoin going to $1 million and all this crap, and it's like, no, y'all don't get it, and this is it will be a sad thing for Bitcoin to succeed, and it's not because I don't like what Bitcoin brought to the world, but it's outdated. And there's better systems, there's better coins, better tokens, better ways to mine, and I'm going to discuss some of basically the main reason why I think Bitcoin should fail. It is centralized by the massive amount of ownership held by the top 100 holders, and there's other reasons, but that's the main one. Bitcoin is centralized, so just it's too much consolidation at the top, so if the world is expecting Bitcoin to be the world's traded coin, they're going to be buying it from about 100 people at whatever price they want to sell it for. It's a rigged market due to how much ownership is consolidated of these coins. So let's also talk about scalability, though. I'll get back to that top 100. Let's talk about just some basic things that are wrong with Bitcoin, and one is scalability. Right now, if you've used Bitcoin, hopefully if you're watching this video, you're more familiar, and you have, you know that sometimes it can take an hour and a half for a transaction to get confirmation. And that is extremely slow. Even if they do an immediate confirmation, like first confirmation, authorization, whoever you're sending it to, could be like Coinbase or whatever. Sometimes they take at least 3 transactions, but there's some that only do 1. It can still take 15-20 minutes. If you're in a gas station trying to buy a drink, you can't wait 15 minutes to buy that drink. So Bitcoin is not going to work in that world of economics. The economic system will not be supported well enough by Bitcoin, and therefore it has to do something about its scalability. It has to be able to process more transactions or hash out more transactions in a given period of time. And just to look at the stats, right? So transactions per day, this is as of today, I suppose, blockchain. I just accessed it. So 268,000 transactions today. Well, that's not really a lot, considering this is supposed to be a global coin. There's only 21 million Bitcoin that will be mined, and they're going to be broken down into Satoshis and all that stuff. But, we're going to be buying this stuff from people who've just been sitting on it for years, waiting and waiting. And there's no reason to do that because, like I said in my intro, money can be anything because money has no inherent value. It just needs some scarcity. It needs a fixed supply that helps, control inflation. And I'll talk about my views on the different types of money systems, the characteristics that can exist. But Bitcoin can't scale to the point where it would be used on a global transaction platform. And they have some ideas on how to fix that, and I'll go into it. But just to give you an idea of what they need to be able to do, this is just some random data from 2017, because it's pretty difficult to find how many transactions occur per day on e-commerce and the statistics. A lot of stuff, a lot of data you have to purchase. But this is something simple just for kind of a qualitative analysis, not really quantitative. And there's more recent data, I'm sure, but I just felt like this would be good enough. But here it's, this person is saying that they processed 35 orders per second at Amazon in 2017. You know what I'm saying? 2017. That's 35 payments, you know what I'm saying, per second. How can Bitcoin do that? Bitcoin can't even do what not that Amazon is doing, but the current digital payment systems, credit cards, going through central banks, processing through Visa, exchanges, all that stuff, it's incredibly fast. You have to, hands down, you cannot deny that it is currently better than what cryptocurrency can offer. Cryptocurrency doesn't have the speed a credit card transaction has through an exchange like Visa, MasterCard, or whatever in the banking system. But you do have settlement times. So a credit card transaction can take a day to 3 days to settle. So how do they do that? Well, they have sort of a front end and a back end system. And Bitcoin wants to do something similar to that. And they're calling it the Lightning Network. So the Lightning Network was something I got into because I started to understand the need to be able to process micropayments. And if you can't process micropayments with a cryptocurrency, it will not be used for the majority of the daily transactions that occur because they are mostly micropayments. It needs to be fast, it needs to be reliable, and right now credit cards offer that, debit cards offer that. Cryptocurrency doesn't, so it doesn't have a place in the real world on a like a very large scale use activity. So what Lightning Network intended to do, and I followed this project for a while, and then I kind of just stopped because it looked like it was going nowhere. And maybe it is going somewhere, but the thing is, it's very centered around Bitcoin. And it's supposed to be the solution to Bitcoin scalability problems. And the way it works, you got layer 1, layer 2 technology. And there's, smart contracts that manage the transfer, cross-chain transfer of currencies. Well, they can get to that. Cross-chain atomic swaps it talks about here, but mainly this is for Bitcoin. They talk about cross-chain on here, but cross-chain is a highway, and the highway is a platform like Ethereum, Bitcoin, or Algorand or Zilliqa. These are all trying to be the major highways for transactions. Okay, so there could be one within another, but ultimately there's going to be one major highway. And this layer 2 Lightning Network stuff was supposed to be it. It isn't yet, it could be. But I found another project that was also going Lightning Network style layer 1, layer 2 technology as well. And there was a very interesting investor in this company. And I'll come back to Lightning Network, what it does, micropayments, boom, that's it. You've got to be able to do micropayments with cryptocurrency to become a real thing in the real world of economics. Right now it's like this fringe, people are making memes, being edgy, but ultimately if you want to make some money, you got to see it go to the regular folks who will just use whatever they're given. They don't think about this stuff. They've got to start incorporating it. How do you do that? Well, you make it micropayment friendly. Because if there's a big technical gap between transactions that results in delays, they're immediately not going to use it. They're not going to want it, or no matter how stable it is, it's got to be fast. But anyways, and this is interesting too. The Lightning Network summary is actually nicer and like more detailed than the technical summary. So it's kind of weak here on its information it provides. But anyways, I found another company, LightX, and they were supposed to offer this cross-chain smart contract layer 2 technology. It's what it all says here. And man, they really spell it out well. They spell it out very well, and they're right about what they say. If they could get their project to do what it's supposed to do, it would basically be the highway that all value cryptocurrency represents, travels on. And I was very, very much a holder, a believer in this project for a long time. And there's one person who really got me to believe in the project, and that's Jeffrey Warnick. Jeffrey Warnick is a big Bitcoin holder. Everybody knows it. It's common knowledge if you're up to date on...
We all know that recently there was an announcement about Jeffrey Warnick. Now, Jeffrey Warnick is joining you guys as your light tax advisor. Is he or is he not? Now, for those of you who...
So let's just, again, the guy who's talking here, He's the Leo Wang, the co-founder of LightX. Man, he does an excellent video here, and it's an old video, but LightX really wasn't getting any attention for a while. And then, or after 2018, they didn't really get much more attention. They had this like pop of media and videos going out. Twitter account was active, and then all of a sudden, just kind of died off. But anyways, what this guy says is he's incredibly smart. I'm not going to watch the whole video, but it's worth watching. He really explains what crypto can be and how it can be successful. But something happened with the project. But Jeffrey Wernick was a big fan of this project, I suppose. He's going to be an advisor in it. And I thought, one of the smartest investors in cryptocurrency, one of the first Bitcoin miners there is, he's probably not going to be a part of something that isn't going to be successful. But LightX has had some issues. It's difficult to find information on them. But either way, Bitcoin was, Jeffrey Wernick, probably maybe the #1 Bitcoin holder in the world, was backing this LightX Lightning Network play off, like this other Lightning Network. It's kind of hard to differentiate between LightX and Lightning Network. They look very similar, and neither project has really got a lot of attention or putting much out there. So Bitcoin's scalability problem seems like it's going to be a problem for a while. And there's other projects out there, Algorand, Zilliqa, Ethereum. There's tons, and I'm not promoting any one of them because they all have a lot of opportunity. I just think that Bitcoin, due to its scalability problems, and due to the fact that, there's some holders like Jeffrey Wernick out there, top 100 addresses hold 20% of the Bitcoins, you're going to be buying it from them. They're gonna be able to determine the price, I believe, because as crypto becomes adopted, people are going to buy and hold it. They're not going to be trading like day trading and all that stuff. They're going to want to use it for normal things, and most people put their money in a bank. They don't mess with it. They just want to know that it's going to store value, be usable. So, I feel like the people who got in on Bitcoin really early kind of messed up the project by consolidating so much wealth at the top. And you talk about liquidity. Bitcoin's worth $6,000 a coin right now. Well, that doesn't really mean much, because if there aren't 21 million people out there willing to buy a Bitcoin for $6,000, the liquidity doesn't exist. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. It may, because that's really a pretty good deal on a Bitcoin, considering if it were globally used, that's a cheap price. But I just don't think Bitcoin will meet the scalability requirements needed to be a global currency, or like a very popular currency. I don't think any one currency is going to take over. But to be one of the most popular, it's got to be scalable. And this 20%, that's a problem.